You know, Chad, what would you say your bulk of content creation, like, experience comes from? Like,
I've been making content online for like over a decade. I've done a lot. I think the majority of what I would be known for obviously now would be streaming, but I've dabbled in a lot of stuff. I had like a voice acting fan dubbing phase. That was like where I started, then switched to doing primarily like song covers and like music stuff. And then VTubing happened around the time of the Panini, and now I'm here after experiences.
that's interesting that you start off with dubbing community, right? You came through anime?
Games at first.
Games.
One of the first projects that I auditioned for was for a fan dub of a movie based off of a game that I liked. I ended up having a little bit of like a prolific presence in the fan dubbing space when I started, and I started really young. So I was like one of the youngest ones doing it at the time too, which is crazy to look back on and think about why were they letting me in.
I feel like most of these casting calls, they don't generally ask like what's your age. It's more like,
yeah, they really
you
don't
voice act this type of character, like this age of character.
Especially when I started, it was more so just about the acting side of it, I guess, and more about just like if your voice tone fit what the people were looking for. Especially for fan dubs, they kind of want you to sound close to the original if they can.
That's kind of similar. Like my route is Japanese idols. One day I just like scrolled on the internet and then came up upon a picture of a J-pop group, and I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. That's how I discovered J-pop in general. I realized that there were groups that like the fan dubbing, but cover dubbing, song dubbing.
Yeah. So you started more in like cover production stuff too then, I guess primarily with like group projects?
Yeah, pretty much. It's similar to fan dubs where they're looking for particular people that sound similar to the idol. You would audition basically very, very similar manner, and then if you sounded very close to someone, then you're basically typecasted for like that type of singing voice. I don't think I really sounded like anyone. J-pop groups are very, very... The line distribution is
it's not good.
It's either like one or two people sing most of the song, and then the supporting cast. That's how it is. If you don't sound like the main character, then you're thrown into the pile of like, I'll just choose a random one for you. Make stuff with people online was really cool as a concept for me.
Yeah, I felt the same way about the voice acting stuff. It was cool to just hear my voice with other people's.
How would you say you got into VTubing? When was like the moment that you said, I should try VTubing myself?
It's tough. When I first heard about VTubing, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I kind of didn't really think much of it. It was like before the really big boom. So it was like your Kizuna eyes. I think I found Kizuna Ai because I watched her go crazy scouting for Nico. Didn't really watch much else from her besides that, and so I kind of vaguely knew what a VTuber was, but I didn't really think about them beyond that. When the boom happened, I started seeing people in like various online communities that I was in ditch what they were doing to go be a VTuber.
The great migration.
Everybody's leaving.
Kizuna Ai, I didn't really consider her as like a VTuber. The term we know it as like today is a little bit different from back then, I guess. Like I've heard about her making YouTube videos, but I didn't really associate her with like the streaming.
Yeah, that's the thing though. That's because VTuber originated from stuff like what Kizuna Ai did, which was the edited videos using the model. It kind of became more about streaming when the big agencies were like, yeah, you can make money from YouTube, but what if you did it live? What if you did it for 24 hours and also forever?
Yeah, mostly agencies, even back then, they're looking for like live streamers. Like every time someone's like, do you want to be a VTuber? It's always like, do you want to be a streamer with a virtual avatar? It's
I don't think anyone thinks about the video side of it anymore.
Yeah, because I would say like my current content spread, now it's kind of 50-50 because I am streaming a little bit more, but generally I wanted at least upload a long form video, whether it's like scripted or edited or something, every 2 weeks. And then now I'm also doing shorts 5 days in a row. So I feel like VTubing Kizuna Ai style is just like, it's a method of presentation more than like a thing.
It's not a genre, it's a medium. I feel like there's starting to be more of a shift back to people realizing you don't have to do the streaming thing in order to be seen as a VTuber. I do think that there are still some people who get a little frustrated by the fact that the word VTuber implies that you're making stuff on YouTube specifically, but then you have a lot of VTubers VTubers who like most of their content's on Twitch.
Right.
Would you then call them a VTwitcher? You can start getting into the weeds of like, what do you call people who make content on this platform more than this? Not to mention the whole like VTweeter debacle of like people who mostly just make content on Twitter because they're not ready to debut yet.
A V-kicker. I am quite on the camp, like if you are a V-tweeter, if you have some sort of presence online, whether you could be a Vinstagrammer, I don't think that's completely wrong, because like I would consider them as like a content creator of some sort.
I think that's the bigger thing. I think we kind of have to start accepting being called content creators or, God forbid, influencers.
KOL in China, they call influencers key opinion leaders. There we go. They have to be fancy. I think there's a lot of opportunity to test this medium outside of what is commonly known. I try to promote that all the time. Earlier today, came across someone's like, how much flesh showing, would you be open to before it no longer becomes VTuber in brackets?
Before it's considered like too immersion breaking or whatever.
Yeah.
I am of the thought that I don't really want to do any sort of like flesh posting. Like I also like refuse to do hand cams because I don't really think that showing my hands would really add anything to my content personally. And I also just think it's more fun to think of the anime girl with the anime hands versus anything else with no flesh hands. Even if I wore gloves, I think I'd still feel weird about it because I'm just like, I don't want like my like physical presence to be associated with the anime girl. I think anyone else who makes the choice to show skin or flesh, I think that's like their choice.
I've always tried to consider like what ways could I make the hand cam screens and things more immersive, like on brand kind of deal. So I've been looking for someone to commission just the sleeve parts of my character so that I could use it for hand cams. This has been such a sad journey I've gone through, like maybe almost a year or so, just trying to get different people to help me out on this small project. Because my first idea is like, okay, I should reach out to cosplayers or like people that
make like costumes, like costumers.
I don't want something too professional or people that are industry, because that's going to be expensive. So it has to be like fan cosplayers and things. I've reached out to, I think 3 or 4 people. All of them sort of agreed, and then either they weren't able to do it anymore or just outright ghost me by the time my turn. Because basically I searched online, like not even search, I just came across a content creator YouTuber, not too big at that time and stuff. They're like, I'm looking for monetary help. I'll do stuff for some monies. And they're like a cosplayer type of person. And I was like, oh, they're looking for work. I'll just like inquire and ask. And they were pretty open to it at the beginning. They're like, okay, just give me like a couple of months. I need to like buy the fabrics and things. So I was like, okay, take your time.
Okay.
They kind of just disappeared for a hot minute. When they came back, they were like doing idol costumes and stuff for pretty big names.
The big name effect.
I'm like, oh, should I poke them about it? I don't know. It feels awkward.
Even if you did, you might get a price increase, as often happens once they start working for the big names.
Yeah.
That's what I felt that urge. You mentioned that they were working on bigger projects, and I was like, uh-oh.
I don't know. I have never had very much luck finding anyone, so now I'm just like, okay, I'll just buy my own materials. Kind of like, I'll show you. I'll make my own.
I'll do it myself.
How much immersion will that add realistically? Because I'll need to find like black gloves instead of like white cotton gloves, and that might be an issue. I don't know. So we'll see.
I think it sounds cool though, because like it goes back to part of the argument I saw about the how much flesh do you show thing was like talking about the, not really advent, but like the whole Tsuki no Mito of it all with the like Kigu VTubers where they have the body shows, but then you wear the head that's like your model.
I feel like I could play on it a little bit, but in general, I'm pretty open to like AR style, like using 3D and things to kind of enhance the real world with a bit of virtual world. I feel like I would be more expressive if I am using a VTuber avatar over like my own face.
One of the things that appealed to me about VTubing is I'm not very expressive in the real world. You can imagine my despair when people had that whole like, you need to be really exaggerated and actually puppet your model in order to show expression. And I'm always just like, I want to die when I do that though, so can we can we find a medium away from that?
It also helps like with the type of model that you work with. Like today we're doing the chibi stuff, right? I feel like they're more playful in general compared to let's say if we use our like full body, it would have like a completely different atmosphere. And I love that we get the option to choose. I think we're kind of fortunate that we have so many different VTuber softwares that we could choose from to stream and enhance our overlays and things.
Like if you've been there since the beginning, you can kind of see how things have evolved over time in the VTubing space, even just with all of the innovations the VTube studio has made, like hello, sound effects became a thing. People used to dream about having sound effects tied to their models, but that has since changed and you can actually do it. It's really crazy.
Yeah, or
how
like
quickly the technology grows.
Like if you're like super wide-eyed, then you can change your expression based on like the tracking stuff. That I forget to turn that on. I bought that recently and I just forget. That's one problem I face. There's too many softwares because there's so much to choose from. Too many softwares to open at the start of each stream.
And of course, the more you choose to use and like load in, the more of a strain it'll put on your PC. I have a bit of an old boy. I'm kind of more conservative with the programs that I run because I'm just like, if I'm not careful, I'm not even gonna have enough space to play a game.
That's me with like VR chat and stuff. Every time I open up, even VR chat, my computer starts vrooming like my kitties. On the bright side, that also helps with some decision makings there though. With those types of constraints, you're able to craft up a stream or like a video in your style in like sort of that way.
Yeah, I think it can all start contributing to like what counts as your individual brand, like what you consider essential to your content versus what you would consider to be a non-essential item or like program or whatever. Like for me, I did raise enough money to eventually get a 3D, but I've told people that my plans for the 3D is strictly like edited pre-recorded content. I can't foresee myself ever wanting to do 3D live. That's just not what I want to do, but I will utilize the 3D model for pre-recorded content or like that sort of like edited down stuff, because I also think that would just be more fun and entertaining to watch too, versus watching, you know, Hanaki struggle with tech for 40 minutes, which is probably what would happen if I tried to do it live. So instead, I can cut all of that out and then you only get the good stuff.
Actually, kind of tying into that, how much of the content you watch in general do you think seeps into the content that you make as a content creator?
This is one of my favorite topics when it comes to content creation. So when it comes to VTuber stuff, I think this is my hot take of the day, perhaps. I think more VTubers should watch non-VTubers and incorporate that into their content.
Hands down, we can end stream right now. That is the main takeaway. I feel like a lot of people really need to kind of understand. Okay, elaborate.
Well, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier when I said that VTubing is less of a genre and it's more of a medium. I think that there are too many people that have this expectation when you are a VTuber, you only do the VTuber things. I think that's also partially what causes the VTuber things to either be seen as like stigmatized because it's tied directly to VTubers and no one else does it, or it kind of leads to stagnation on behalf of the VTubers because they're not branching out and like following the platform changes or like algorithm changes and all of that stuff. I feel like other creators, maybe because they don't feel as limited by the VTuber expectation or whatever niche they're in expectation, they can follow algorithm changes, they follow trends more easily, and their trends don't feel as like limited to being something that only VTuber fans would get. Conversely, most platforms are catered to the non-VTubers. So I think sometimes if you want to play the game, you got to be willing to do the other type of stuff. You got to be willing to like branch out to those other branches. And that also kind of leads to like more marketability on your behalf too. Because then you're not as limited to like only getting VTuber fans watching you. You can start getting more, not to call them normies, but like people outside of the core would then be able to start getting more interested in you because you're doing more stuff.
I think one example is like the VTuber debut. That's a big one.
Oh, yeah. That was one of your first videos about how you don't really need a debut.
Or someone mentioned in chat, like, how important is Twitter to the growth plan? The way VTubers use Twitter, I feel like attracts more VTubers rather than audience.
I feel like Twitter, if you look at the way different platforms are maybe used, it's really only so you can network with other VTubers or like other content creators or brands or places where you're like trying to get noticed for like work opportunities. It's very rarely going to be good for attracting fans per se, unless you're like doing more collaborations with other VTubers maybe, and then they share you and then a fan is like, oh, this person's collaborating with a VTuber I'm gonna follow them. But that doesn't happen nearly as much as you think it would. So honestly, I don't think you need to put that much investment into Twitter. Not to say don't use it, but don't use it thinking that that's going to be how you get fans. That's going to be how you meet other VTubers to collaborate with.
A lot of new VTubers, when they first start off, like they want to show off their model type of deal, right? And they do the unlock the model with the 5 likes or like 20 likes, and then as you have more people kind of look at that, then out of the numbers start kind of increasing. Whereas some VTubers who this isn't their first rodeo kind of deal, they just start off a new like a VTuber Twitter, and then suddenly they're like 50, 60,000 followers already. Those what was unlock me type of things, honestly think they really do just attract other VTubers compared to like more generic tweets.
I don't think a normal like fan would be on Twitter searching the VTuber hashtag to find new VTubers to follow. I think the only people who use that hashtag are other VTubers looking for VTubers to follow.
I think that's kind of important in a way to have like VTubers supporting each other. If I were at like a convention and stuff doing a meet and greet booth stuff, something like that, I would link to my Twitter, and sometimes I would get like a follower too. Realistically, I would want them to follow me on my YouTube or on my Twitch so that they could check out that type of content. But first of all, you gotta be known. But that's why people encourage, like, if you're just streaming as a VTuber, unless you're like on this platform 24 hours, you will need to have some sort of other content outside to attract new viewers.
Especially if you look at Twitch, where Twitch really doesn't advertise you at all unless you are live. Like if that's where you're doing the bulk of your streaming, then you have to kind of be aware of the fact that you're not going to get that much direct new people coming in unless you're playing something that has that niche where people will check out anyone that's playing it. That's kind of where you get into the argument of like, are people following you because you're playing a trending game and they just want to see the game? Will they watch your other stuff? Or do they want to follow you because of your personality, and then they'll watch whatever you're doing?
That's why when I first started my Felynne channel and everything, I really wanted to emphasize the long form videos before I did a bit of like streaming and stuff, because I watch a lot of non-VTubers. Like unless it's my friends and like I'm dropping by and saying hello and just like checking out for a little bit, like majority of the content that I do when I'm like eating and stuff is all non-VTuber related stuff.
Yes, I'm the exact same way. I admittedly don't watch a lot of VTubers.
For me, that's like a source of where I get my ideas and stuff from.
I avoid gaming streams like the plague unless I happen to like the game. I don't really like to watch game streams. I will occasionally watch Azatsu, especially for friends, because then I'll yap with the friend in their chat. But like I avoid game streams, and yet if you don't game stream, sometimes it feels like nobody wants to watch. So I'm always kind of struggling there because I'm just like, man, I don't watch these. I don't know how to present it right.
Gaming thing is like what a lot of people want to do as VTubers, right? Like for the most like generic...
It's that dream of being a Let's Player, you know, from like the really old YouTube or like the really old like Rooster Teeth Achievement Hunter type of like, these people got famous just because they played Minecraft every week.
I want to earn money with Minecraft. Why can't I do it? It's one of the biggest categories of VTubers, right? Like you've got the V-singers who focuses more on song covers or making original songs and things, doing karaoke. But then you also have a camp of gamers who either are variety gamers or they specialize in roguelikes or they specialize in Souls-likes or Metroidvanias, and they only play like that type of games. For me, I don't think that would ever work for me. Like, I don't think I have the patience. I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just playing Souls-like, for example. And then if I want to try a different type of game, then my main audience that I grew is going to be like either, okay, I'll check it out because Felynne is playing it, or man, I don't like this game at all. I'm just going to tune in elsewhere, right? Apparently there is like some very specific way that VTubers talk.
It's probably, it goes back to the like puppeting the model, because like you just kind of sound more animated. I also know this because I like voice acting. The way that you like enunciate when you're trying to be more animated, this is how I sound when I'm talking normally. This is what I sound like when I'm trying to make my model move and look super cute. Oh my gosh, really? That's what you meant? Wow, that's crazy. That's the VTuber talk. You can sometimes hear it when you see VTubers be like, oh my gosh, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, mwah, or whatever
I
do.
Do that. That's my phone voice.
Yeah. It is kind of like the customer service voice. It pops out when you're like trying to really lock in on that energy and like move around and like puppet the anime girl a little bit more. It's like you're talking to an anime girl. Yes, exactly. No, it's like the anime girl voice comes out.
You've got the Instagrammers that have the come with me to this place so that we can try. Like that cadence, right? You have the da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da.
The social media cadence.
Yeah. And then VTubers also have like that specific cadence. When I'm streaming, I try to talk as if I were like conversing with someone, even if I'm not in like a collab setting. But it is pretty difficult to like keep that like energy.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, I think the VTuber voice, because I think this was the first phenomenon of like the social media influencer voice, was definitely the YouTubers being like, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. And that was especially like known in like edited content. You can't imagine how many takes those YouTubers must have done in order to get that exact cadence. I think that's also why, if you don't mind me talking a little bit about corporate stuff.
For sure.
That's also kind of why they tell you to like be careful when you're picking the voice that you're going to use on stream, because you have to make sure you can maintain it for the whatever minimum allotment for a stream that you can do, because otherwise it's exhausting. Even just now pretending to be more animated for that, I was like, oh god, I could not keep that up for a whole stream.
I think that's very important too. Like some things that just learn over time type of deal, and it's okay. Like some people start off with like a really chipper voice, but then over time they're like, okay, maybe I'll tone that down a bit. I don't know, there's like a camp where people already got to know you while you're doing that sort of tone, so...
And then you switch and they're like, what?
It's like sometimes when you switch different models, that also happens too, right? People get very attached. Wait, hold on. Wasn't this like a big thing? Like as a VTuber, to really understand your audience versus like orbiters, is that the word? Like people that know you from like that one image and that's it. That's all they know about you type of deal.
I do watch a lot of Ren's stuff because I feel like they have a very unique perspective on content creation. Not just VTubing. I've been paying attention to a lot of the stuff that they've been saying, especially post the big switch of like about a week or two ago. But you do get kind of attached to like a specific model, and I'll admit even I felt it. Like when I saw the debut of the new model for them, I was like, I don't know if that fits. But I didn't make it their problem, which is what happened online and is why it became such a big issue for everybody else.
No, for me, I was like, I couldn't tell if it was like a joke or not at the beginning, but like once they actually debuted the model, I was like, oh, okay, that's their new look. Okay. It's kind of akin to cutting your hair sort of deal when you're doing such a major rebrand. You want to start fresh. Like there's a saying, like if you're doing a big change in life, you cut your hair type of deal.
That's also why they're strict with like idols too, about like maintaining a certain image and not really letting you like cut or dye your hair unless they approve it or whatever, right?
Yeah. Apparently there was a kid that still went to school and is an idol, but they had their hair dyed blonde or something for their debut, and the school was like, you gotta change it back to black.
No. But right, because most Japanese schools don't let you have the dyed hair like that.
Yeah, and then his excuse was like, no, I gotta stay this for my image. Like I have like proof my agency wants me to keep this look.
I can whip out my contract. Must be blonde.
So
which sounds fake, but it's so real.
It's so real. No, it's a legit thing. So even subtle changes with like hairstyles and things for VTubers could sometimes impact your audience in ways, but if it's for the benefit of like the direction that you want to go into, more power to you type of deal. Like at the end, it's just a skin, a non-flesh skin.
I also can see it from the side of like a fan where like you're so used to that specific image for, I mean, especially for sticking with the Prince's case, it was like years because of the issues that they then had to explain in a video later after all of the backlash happened.
For my favorite J-pop idols and stuff, sometimes when they change their hair and stuff, I'm like, ew.
Ew, no, go back.
Ew, no, go back.
But then you kind of get used to it. Like, you have that initial, like, I have this with,
not
like,
the rat tails, okay? I will never stand rat tails. Get those off. Cut them off now. And then a mullet. They had a mullet afterwards. I was like, please stop this.
Not the rat tail to mullet pipeline. Those are some choices.
This is not your brand. Please, no.
No, someone brought it up in chat. I was actually told by management back when I was corporate that I might have to stay green forever. They were saying that there was a very high chance they were never going to let me change 1.0's hair color, even if I got to the point where I was getting like new outfits and stuff. And I was like, ugh. I see.
Have you ever tried coming up with any theories of your own in like trying to figure out how the YouTube algorithm works? It keeps changing. Dear Lord.
Anytime you think you have an idea of what might work is when they decide to change it and they're like, actually, it's this now. Like the minute you think you have it set and you're like, okay, I have to post this many shorts in a day, I have to stream this many times in a week, and then YouTube's like, actually, what if we just make all of your streams count as like an uploaded YouTube video, even though that's not what it is, and we're now gonna punish you because you're not getting a lot of views on this uploaded VOD from when you were streaming.
Oh,
the minute you think you have something figured out or you think you're starting to ride the wave in like a positive way. That always seems to be when they're like, actually, what if we change that? What if we get rid of that?
One VTuber that I generally keep up with is Giga, because like she has a lot of clips about content creation and stuff. And I kind of agree with her on that. You should try a lot of different things. It's like playing a roguelike on your channel where you have certain builds for your videos and you want to see what works and what doesn't. And until a single video or maybe a couple starts going viral, you just got to keep trying until you hit that. But then once you hit that for that specific channel, that's all you're going to be known for. The YouTube
I was
algorithm.
like, you better be ready to do Thing forever if you're going to be banking off of that.
At that point, that's like the final build for that specific channel, and then you can move everything else to a different channel and try again, start anew.
How do you feel about having to run multiple channels? Because I know that's kind of like the main YouTube meta. That kind of seems to be the expectation now.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I've heard people say that the multi-channel is still like the best way to go, and then I've also heard people say the multi-channel is no longer as relevant as before. It's drastically different, and you haven't really started experimenting with that type of content in your original channel. Throw it into a new channel and experiment and do like a sub-experimentation there. For me, I've always been toying around the idea of pushing more of my music stuff outside of this channel. It won't be good for either type of quote-unquote algorithms that my channel's trying to build up right now versus like one that I want the music covers to build up. If you have a strategy, something that you want to try that's very different, go do a different channel. But you also have to make sure you're okay with running multiple channels, right? You don't want to start a new channel, do like maybe 2 or 3 videos, and then don't see results from that, and then never touch that type of channel again. I'm looking at you, my VOD channel, I'm sorry.
I'm kind of in the unique position of kind of feeling like I have to because my YouTube channel can't get monetized. I've been thinking about benefits of starting a new channel and having that be where the edited content goes, because I intended to kind of pivot in a way similar to you, where I was going to do more edited content and have that kind of be the bulk for as long as I could. But the minute I struggled getting my monetization back after the transfer from Corpo to Indie, I was just like, I don't know if this is even gonna be worth it then.
It's actually one other reason why I would split my music stuff, because it can't be monetized.
And
right?
I've seen stuff too about how V-singers have started to be kind of like punished more, like they can't start monetization if they have too many, even if it's not a strike, if they just have like the shared revenue thing, if they have too many of those, they're having a hard time getting their memberships unlocked or like having any kind of monetization for their other stuff.
I always advocate don't stick to one platform if you can, like try to diversify your portfolio. Hashtag I am not a financial advisor, but it's real as a content creator. Look what happened to Vine.
You can't be loyal to just one platform. It will betray you. This goes back to VTubers doing more than just VTuber stuff, but please pay attention when platforms are posting about new features. Or when they're posting about certain things going away. I was one of the first people that told my chat that YouTube was getting rid of its clipping feature and just replacing it with timestamps again.
YouTube's been trying to push shopping. I did that Lego cat thing a while back, right? I didn't tag any items on it, but then YouTube automatically tagged it to the Lego cat, and now it's just like living underneath my video. Are people gonna click that? I don't know. Hopefully it will earn me some money, but I'm not banking on it.
Would that count as an affiliate link? I don't think it would. I think that would just be like, that would get like a little bit for Lego then.
No, I think I'd get like a penny or something. It is affiliate marketing, but like very convoluted. So you can get roughly like 1% commission from Invincible Versus, all the way to like 20% if you buy Gran Turismo 7. I do know some content creators, a lot of affiliate marketing does help.
Notice their own like
revenue.
merch being linked in like descriptions and stuff. So I can imagine if it's like something that is specifically yours, you could probably see bigger returns from that.
Merch is so big. If you could do one type of merch, no questions asked, like unlimited money to like make it, what would it be?
My biggest one has always been and probably will always be an Nendoroid.
They're so cute. I think one of my ideas would have been like a model kit or something, if I had unlimited monies and like I could persuade Bandai to help me.
Oh yeah, you'd want to shoot for the big brand.
But also like the other half of me, and I still joke about this, but I think it's still very, very much viable, is cat tofu litter. Something that happens with a reoccurring subscription. Hello? Money making brain, I guess. That
I mean, I'd rather you do that as a subscription service than to have like a course or something. Please never make an influencer course, Lynn. I'm begging you. I'm on my hands and knees. Don't make a course. Don't make a course. I think the problem I have have with influencer courses tends to be that they're just like, make content.
Do what I do. Get money.
Just make money. And they don't really actually teach you anything.
I've seen so many YouTubers go that route. And then once they release their course, you never really hear about them again because they just like...
They got the steady income, or in some cases, if nobody bought it, they I don't know, bankrupted. I don't know if that's the actual term, but they just explode.
Yeah, they literally just like disappear. So I'm like, was that successful or not? On the topic of like money making as content creators, like I feel like if you do have a certain skill to teach, I don't know how much money you actually make out of those courses, because like those courses are like a one-time thing.
It's a pretty big one-time purchase though, especially if you get like a handful of people buying it.
Would you rather go like not as much sales but like more money versus like a lot of sales, little money per thing? Like that's always a balance.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have multiple people paying a small amount, but then that part is consistent because it's a smaller amount. If I ever make a influencer course, or like if I ever do anything crazy like that, it's gonna be like $2, and then you get access to the entire library, and then you can have a recurring subscription so you always have access to the library. And that's probably how I would try to make money, because if it's that small and then you get access and people want to keep the access because they're studying at their own pace or whatever, then I feel like that would add up over time versus the like $800 one-off course that's like access expires in a week and then you have like nothing to show for it besides being told just do it, Lamau.
That's why I like Shoost is like it's not complete yet. There's no version 1 yet, but every time that the developer has a new update to it, like a version update, the entire plan is subscription, but you can always just like pay $5 to grab the latest update and then cancel the subscription. But if you want to continue supporting the development of it, you could keep that $5 subscription going.
I think it's harder with content to kind of figure out how to do monthly membership offerings or like recurring purchases. I really struggled when I was trying to come up with membership benefits when I first had them open on my YouTube channel. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I can offer. Literally
right now, like I think it's like $2 because all you get is really the usage of the emojis. It's really just to support the channel as a whole. I don't have additional tiers and things.
As someone who was made to do a Patreon by management and then tried to maintain it after leaving management, a bulk of Patreon's content, they do want you to do more behind the scenes, like exclusive, like looking at stuff. Like maybe, I think in your case, it might benefit you to do like a behind the scenes of like, oh, here's what a typical video script looks like. Early access to videos could probably also be an option. For me, I do a lot of like special like written posts that are kind of like diary entries, but not really. And then I also offer like monthly insights into kind of my analytics. Like I'm like, here's how many times I streamed in a week. Here's kind of what the viewership looked like. Here's how much I grew. And I kind of just like info dump my thoughts, especially because I like this topic. I just think it's fun to offer people like a look at kind of like what it does and like how it looks for me, especially because I do this full time. Like here's what it looks like to do it full time at my numbers, I guess, and like how my numbers like rise and fall. Patreon does tend to prioritize, and they also actually released a new thing where they're trying to be more community focused too. They added this thing called quips, and the way a quip yeah, they're calling it quips, but the way it's supposed to work is you can post a quip publicly. Like it's not limited to your members, and you can advertise stuff that you do on your Patreon in your quip, but quip has its own like public feed, and you can find other people's Patreon pages. Clips themselves are free content, and you can just kind of like use them to interact not just with your community, but they're also trying to encourage you to interact with other people using Patreon, like from the creator side. It lets you like network, it lets you comment on other people's clips, and you're supposed to be able to interact with other people that way, which is kind of interesting. Patreon used to be very like, this is for your community, this is for your little nest. But it looks like they're trying to encourage more networking.
For Patreon or Ko-Fi, it's kind of similar. The search is horrendous, right? Discoverability is practically zero unless you know the content creator and you go to that page specifically to either just check out what they have or support them. A lot of these things you could, in theory, put it into YouTube as like members-only videos or members-only posts. For someone who had like the experience with Patreon, do you see certain benefits of using Patreon over putting it all together and putting all your eggs in one basket?
When I started it, management's encouragement was to have like one kind of more expensive tier than what was being offered on YouTube. Like YouTube members still got all of their member content, but the idea with the Patreon was supposed to be that it was a step higher for like further support, and that's why it was all like behind the scenes stuff. For like a VTuber also, that's where I put a lot of the HD art files in case people wanted to make like a wallpaper out of a certain Yuno Hanaki artwork. The benefit was supposed to be, this is all the behind the scenes stuff about what Yuno does when she's not like making her regular content for you guys. And then you also got like sneak peeks of like stuff I was working on with like covers, voice packs. The plan was to eventually like make it so that I was releasing more voice packs like monthly, and they were going to be more like lore focused and like edited to sound more like a radio play, was kind of the intention for my Patreon when it was first conceptualized, but I didn't have it for very long before we got bonked. So the idea is that it's supposed to be able to build upon, and you can also like, not to make it seem like it's about money, but they wanted it to be that you could charge more for like a additional like peek behind the curtain and like an offering of like that kind of stuff. I also wanted to do more writing, and YouTube members' posts weren't really the best place to post writing because formatting's abysmal. I want to use italics. I wanted something where I could have the focus be more on the written medium, because that's what I like, and that's what I was willing to offer for like more exclusive like lore focused content before the voice packs started happening more. For me at least, it made sense to kind of diversify it and like spread it a bit further, but I emphasized that it was not necessary to join it.
Have you come across like a new VTuber content creator platform? I think they just popped up recently.
I saw something on my For You page too. Maybe we saw the same one.
Yeah, because I was a little bit skeptical. I've also been looking at like creator platforms. That's what they're called, right? That isn't the first one that I've seen recently that is targeted for VTubers. I know Peachy is another one, R18, I believe. But there is a lot of these like smaller content creator platforms, which all behave similar to Patreon in a way, right? But for the VTuber niche only or something like that. And I always wondered like how effective that would work compared to...
It's not gonna work. Back in my day, I saw it happen with the V-Stream platform, and it died within a couple of months because nobody wanted to use it.
That's one thing to be wary of, like for VTuber aspiring VTubers or something. It's just like whenever you see a VTuber-specific platform, always be wary.
I know the idea of being an early adopter appeals to a lot of people because like usually it's the first ones on a platform who tend to have the bigger following, and they also become the face of that platform.
Right.
It's appealing, especially if you're trying to do VTubing to become big and famous, to be the front face of a new platform. If you think, well, hopefully you think that it's going to become big. If you don't think it's going to become big, why are you doing it? But like, it's kind of like, there's always that appeal of like, but this could get me big famous number. I'm like the front face on this platform. People will see me all the time, and then they'll be able to click on me and I'll become big, huge. But then like the limitation then becomes, it's another way of separating the audience between platforms.
Right.